What if I told you that an African military leader is becoming the face of protest in America? Mr. Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso. While Western leaders argue and posture, Traore is building. He made childbirth completely free for every woman in his country. He launched massive farming projects, cutting food imports. No foreign aid, no begging, just solutions. In New York City, protesters chanted his name, Ibrahim Traore, Ibrahim Traore. Why? Because people are starved for real leadership. He speaks what American leaders won't. We are not here to beg for survival. We're here to reclaim our dignity. In a time when politicians serve profit, Traore stands for purpose. He kicked out foreign troops, rejected IMF control, built buses, grew food, and told the West, Africa is not your charity case. And now, his face is painted on protest murals in Harlem, his quotes are going viral on TikTok, and his spirit of resistance is spreading across continents. If you think Africa is rising and the world is finally noticing, drop a comment, follow for more, and tell them the revolution wears a beret.
First of all, I wanted to say I am the representative of Denmark for the Sahel region. I'm special representative, and in this capacity I had the honor of having a meeting with your Prime Minister. Perhaps before that I wanted to highlight that 15 years ago I also had the honor of working here in Ouagadougou as the ambassador to Burkina Faso for Denmark. That means I truly hold Burkina Faso close to my heart, and that's also why I think it's really important to have the exchanges we had, very important positive exchanges with the Prime Minister. It was concerning the situation of the world, one might say, because everything happening now, it's really important to prioritize dialogue and political dialogue, diplomatic dialogue. We also, of course, discussed the relations between Burkina Faso.
Here's a fun fact you may not know. See this man right here? His name is Jean Emmanuel, and he is the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has a president and a prime. He had a meeting with that lady from Denmark. I don't know why he's entertaining this mess, because when it comes to the West, they have no shame, none at all. They realize that the grass is not greener on the other side. There's no other side anyway, because it's only Africa. Y'all ain't got nothing. But anyway, back in 2024, they shut down the embassies, the Denmark embassies in Burkina Faso and Mali, because Mali and Burkina Faso were getting close to Russia. That's their words right there. I come with the facts. The bottom line is, now they want to backpedal because the money has dried up. It's that simple, it's that easy. They want the free, cheap resources. Not too long ago, I posted a video asking why Denmark is all of a sudden trying to offer help to Burkina Faso, calling them wolf in sheep clothing. I always do, because I can always see through the lies. That was them trying to save face because they weren't getting ready for this. I don't know why Mr. Prime Minister would even give these people the time of day. The only reason why they're here is because they want to come back. They want the resources, that's all. The only thing these people care about is themselves. They have made that clear millions of times. I don't know how much clearer they have to be.
President Ibrahim Traore
and the Sahelian peoples in particular are firmly committed to fully and completely taking charge of their total emancipation for genuine social progress. Thus, Burkina Faso will, in a sovereign manner, form partnerships with whomever it chooses and will purchase its defense equipment from whomever it chooses. Whether a country is called Russia, Iran, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Cuba, Nicaragua, or North Korea, Burkina Faso will freely buy from and sell its products to them without intermediaries, and certainly without needing anyone's authorization. And so be it. In Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, there are neither weapons factories nor ammunition plants. So who is recruiting these terrorists? Who is training them? Who is constantly supplying them? Who is feeding them, and with what resources? Do you really believe in this philanthropy, in the name of which Westerners would send their soldiers to the Sahel to die for the beautiful eyes of the Sahelians? If so, then what explains the irritation and other childish diplomatic posturing whenever France is told to withdraw its military? So, enough with the crude diplomatic statements claiming that these imperialist powers come to the Sahel to defend democracy and human rights. Therefore, these expansionist moralizers should keep their selective rhetoric about respecting human rights for the terrorists they support. Secondly, Africa does not like to compare the dead. It is a lack of education to do so. Therefore, I respectfully bow my head in memory of all nationalities who have lost their lives in Africa in general and in the Sahel in particular. Mr. President, what has just been described are the deeply unfortunate labels of a UN that today is reduced to its mere form, as 1.2 billion people are plunged into poverty, $2 trillion are spent on armaments, and the nuclear budget is 20 times that of the UN. On development issues, Africa receives $34 billion from the IMF and the World Bank, compared to $160 billion for the West. The UN is increasingly becoming a shadow of itself due to attempts to hijack it by a conglomerate of imperialist international powers, thus undermining the clarity and seriousness of its positions, and so on. So let us address the causes, and the consequences will disappear on their own. But if we continue with this ostrich game, with hypocritical diplomacy, shameless state lies, organized crimes, constitutional manipulation, and the creation of lackeys at the head of our African states, even the UN may not escape a coup. A word to the wise is enough.
And in a single day, we earned 1.1 billion.
It was a day that would be etched in the memory of every man, woman, and child in Burkina Faso. A day that began like any other, under the vast, often unforgiving Sahelian sun, but would end with the world looking at this landlocked West African nation in a new, astonishing light. On this single, momentous day, the news broke, sending shockwaves not just across the continent, but around the globe. Burkina Faso, a country more known for its vibrant culture and resilient people than for its economic might, had just secured a staggering $1.1 billion from a groundbreaking oil deal. The very idea was revolutionary, a narrative twist so profound that it felt like fiction. From forgotten dusty wells, a torrent of black gold was set to flow, promising to rewrite Africa's economic destiny in real time. The question on everyone's lips was simple yet profound. How did a nation without a single inch of coastline, a nation once on the periphery of global markets, manage to orchestrate such a monumental economic turnaround, cashing in on a scale that was previously unimaginable? This is the story of that day, a story that is about so much more than just oil. It's a story about a revolution, about a nation taking control of its own destiny. The day the news of the $1.1 billion deal hit the ground in Burkina Faso, it was as if the earth itself had shifted. The announcement came not from a press conference in a lavish foreign hotel, but from the heart of the nation's capital, Ouagadougou. It was a declaration of economic independence that resonated with the force of a drumbeat, a sound that carried from the bustling city streets to the most remote villages. For years, the global markets had overlooked Burkina Faso, its potential buried beneath headlines of instability and poverty. But now, in a single audacious move, the nation had not just entered the game, it had changed the rules. The oil wells in the Sahel, long dismissed by international experts as dormant or commercially unviable, had roared to life. This was not a stroke of luck, it was the result of a meticulously executed plan, a masterclass in geopolitical strategy and unwavering efficiency. At the helm of this transformation was Captain Ibrahim Traore, a leader whose vision was as clear as it was bold. He had systematically dismantled the bureaucratic red tape that had for so long stifled any attempts at exploration and development. He understood that the old ways of doing business, which often benefited foreign interests more than the African nations themselves, were a dead end. He decisively cut out the middlemen who siphoned off profits, fast-tracked partnerships with local entrepreneurs and experts, and sent a clear message to the world: the era of exploitation was over. He turned his back on the overpriced consultants from abroad, who often offered textbook solutions that were disconnected from the realities on the ground. Instead, he placed his trust in regional experts, individuals who understood the land, its people, and its potential. They were the ones who knew the secrets of the Sahel, the whispers of the earth that spoke of the riches that lay beneath. The timing of this bold move was nothing short of genius. As geopolitical tensions in other parts of the world caused disruptions in the global oil supply, prices began to soar. It was a window of opportunity, a moment of perfect alignment, and Burkina Faso, under Captain Traore's guidance, seized it with both hands. They didn't just strike oil, they struck at the perfect moment to maximize their returns, cashing in on a scale that sent a clear message to the world: Burkina Faso was a serious player. The energy giants of the world, who had for so long dictated the terms of engagement in Africa, came knocking. They arrived with their complex contracts and their promises of investment, expecting business as usual, but they were met with a firm, unyielding resolve. Captain Traore did not flinch. His response was as audacious as it was simple: no exploitation, no giveaways. This was the birth of the sovereign barrel doctrine, a new policy that would forever change the relationship between Burkina Faso and the global oil industry. Under this doctrine, the nation would retain a 51% controlling stake in all new oil ventures. For the first time, an African nation was not just asking for a seat at the table, it was setting the table. The crumbs of the past were replaced by a feast of opportunity, a chance to build a future on its own terms. The reaction across the nation was electric. The streets of Ouagadougou, a city that had seen its share of struggles, erupted in celebration. This was not just about the money.
Please, somebody should tell me, is Africa finally going to be free from waste exploitation? It's because another president from Botswana, Dumaboko, who just took over the helms of our field government around November 1, 2024, is insisting that enough is enough of serving the waste purposes, and that they as a nation do not have any reason whatsoever to be poor, and they don't have any reason to be in debt considering the mineral resources that they have in their disposal. They themselves know that they are sitting on natural resources. Just take a look at this.
This country shouldn't be where it is. This country shouldn't be in debt. There's no way. It is unjustifiable. I cannot, by the life in me, understand why we are where we are.
And as we speak, he has actually joined forces with Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traore, to see their dream actually come to light. And they want to start building their own refineries and also sending away all foreign agencies away from their land. To be very honest, this is my question. If this continue, do you actually think that Africa and the West can actually find a common ground, or this will actually lead to chaos later? Let me know in the comment section, but do well to follow me, like, comment and share. See you in the next.